Valley of Tears is a 180-kilometer gravel race in Turkey, Texas. It's approximately 80% gravel. The total prize money was $52,000 divided equally between men and women. So the field was a very good one, especially that early in the season. So how did Valley of Tears played out? First good news, it was a 10 a.m. start, so I think really everybody quite enjoy the extra time of sleep. Normally it's a super early morning in the gravel world, so it was nice to wake up feeling a little bit more refreshed than normal. And yeah, right from the start, it was super nervous. I wasn't sure if it was because it was the first race of the season, but my questioning got an answer very fast. The reason why everybody was super nervous is that pretty much the second road was a super sandy one. And I was in okay position. I was maybe top 15. I should have been top 5. And yeah, the sand was very deep and people were getting caught into it and it was messing down their line. And as soon as we entered that section, I was like, I need to go to the front as fast as possible because it's not gonna look good. And as soon as I thought this, there was a substantial crash. Unfortunately, I just went down at a super low speed. I just had to put my hand on the ground. Some guys hit the deck pretty hard. The only thing I heard is that 1 or 2 guys broke fingers. In my case, I really had nothing. I was able to get on the bike pretty fast. And from there, I kind of had to chase because I was not the fastest to get on my bike. And I was with a group of, I would say, 4 riders, and there was 6 riders at the front. So only 6 riders did not crash. So there was 6 riders at the front. I was with 4 riders, and there was a group of approximately 6 or 7 chasing us. After a little bit of time, at the front, 2 guys were able to break away. So Keegan and Chase, and the other guys that were in front got caught by us. So it created a group of 7 riders, and we finally got caught by 2 other riders. So our group was Brennan, Finn, Julien, myself, Ted King, Alex House, and other very good riders. And we were chasing Chase and Keegan. And honestly, it was very hard to know if we were catching them or if they were increasing their gap. There was not any time gap. We were riding, I would say, at a normal gravel pace, so about 270 watts for me. So I wasn't sure. I was like, maybe we're catching them, maybe we're riding at the same speed, maybe they are taking some ground. But the longer and longer we went into the ride, some guys were clearly losing some fuel. So it kind of slowed down our group. And I think that's kind of where we lose the race, if I'm honest. You can really see the race as separated in 3. So the first 40K was like super hard, everybody chasing themselves. The middle 100K was endurance pace, high endurance. So kind of chill, but still uncomfortable. And then we arrived at the last 40K, and the last 40K was pretty much the most technical gravel road. And I knew about it, but I didn't ride it because 2 days before it was completely unrideable because of the mud. So the mud here, when it rains, it gets very sticky and it sticks to your tires. And if you keep rolling, it jams into your frame and you will just break your frame. So Julien and I tried to ride it, but it was just impossible. We had to turn back. So on this road, I didn't lose any time and started attacking with Brendan Wirtz and Finn. And it didn't take too long for us to separate ourselves. And the only guy that was able to follow was Julien from Quebec. From there, we rode in a pretty organized way because we still had hope of catching Chase and Keegan. But we got a time gap about 25K from the finish, and it was clear that we were not catching them. So From then on, it was just pretty much a game of cat and mouse. So we kind of all canceled each other, and it finished in a sprint. The sprint was really tricky. It was a long false flat, the tailwind going into a super tight corner that went from gravel to asphalt, so pretty much the most dangerous thing you can hope for. And the line was like maybe 30 or 40 meters after that, so it was pretty much a race to the turn. And heading into that false flat before the turn, I was the first in front, and Julien kind of took a flyer, and I was not fast enough to respond, so Finn and Brendan were able to get on Julien's wheel, and I was the last one taking Brendan's wheels. And in the turn, I was third, and I tried a sprint, but the sprint was so short after the turn that I was not able to do anything. So that actually brings us to the number one takeaway, and I would say is racing legs and also racing mind. So training in Quebec, I can actually get in better shape than if I'm all over the place doing training camp. It also allows me to calm my mind and just not travel for a while. It's the only block of the year that I get to be home for more than a month at a time. So that's very good, but I lose a little bit of the racing attribute, namely leg speed, but also cornering and technical ability. And I would say it really showed in the sprint. Normally, if I focus on them, they fade away very fast. So that's actually was the goal of this race here. It was to get the racing sensation back, and also to get to ride gravel and ride my bike for the first time before Mid-South, which is bigger goal. In terms of number, the intensity factor was 0.758. TSS was 285. Not too high. Normally, I would say on a 5-hour race, gravel race, I'm more around 300. And calorie burn was just under 5,000 calories, so pretty normal for a gravel race. It seems like a lot, but that's why you need to drink that much maple syrup on the bike.